Lock the doors, turn on the lights, and keep a stuffed animal
What the fuck?
because these movies will chill you to the bone.
Oh, the fucking autoplay got me. Like autoplay. Now it's for real. Is it not showing up? You guys can't even see it, can you? Fuck it. Fuck it. You guys can't see it. Okay, that's great. Because I want... I wanted to show the intro trailer to a game called Homesick, because Homesick is the name of a game by Chloe Sagal. Chloe Sagal, of course, who we are talking about tonight on our first part of a, I guess, 4-part Dead Person series for October. Now, the conundrum I faced while looking up dead people to talk about is that they're not very interesting. All the ones who are dead are kind of boring. And Chloe Sagal is really not that interesting. What's interesting about Chloe Sagal is the fallout of their death and how people reacted to it. What happened with the game Homesick, by the way, I did think it was their game, and I thought, wow, this is actually a nice-looking game. It has real assets, and people are rating it positively on Steam. This was the intro, by the way. It's just, the game is it's like a tour through like an abandoned building. It looks like a post-Soviet building. And it's kind of like a walking simulator, like I guess like Life is Strange, but without annoying hipsters in it. But it had good ratings and stuff. And then I found out that, oh, no, it's not this Homesick. In fact, the Homesick that Chloe Sagal put out got into a conflict with the guys from this game. And Chloe Sagal really passive-aggressively renamed it to the game formerly called Homesick. That name didn't really stick around. And the articles published about them post-mortem only referred to it as Homesick. But I caught that at the last second that this wasn't actually their game. Their game was actually a lot shittier. I mean, I guess it's not too bad for like a one-person thing, but it's definitely not as high quality as this is. So, I guess I should say that they're trans. I have to be careful because I'm on YouTube. I have to be careful and I have to get the name right. I have to get the pronouns right. Because otherwise I'll get in trouble, and I can't do that. I've already gotten in trouble for making fun of Greta Thunberg this month. In their life, they had a very bad habit of getting into fights with people, and they were a creative talent that wasn't particularly good, as indicated by the fact that their chosen girl name is Chloe Sagal, which is literally just Chloe's a gal. Like Chloe is a gal. As a name. People were talking about how Chloe is apparently Jewish because the name Sagal is apparently a Jewish last name. They are not Jewish. Just a heads up. That's just like their prior name is definitely not a Jewish name. It's just a coincidence because of the etymology of their chosen new name. So I guess this is how Chloe would want people to remember Chloe. This is a picture, if you're only listening, from Chloe Sagal's very defunct Twitter account. I'll explain why in a second. They have all their social media is completely wiped out. But in this picture, Chloe looks like a very strong woman, very thick set woman, and holding up a big fist. And I don't know if you guys remember those spiked wristbands that were popular with like scene kids in like the mid 2000s, but they're wearing one of them and they've got a balled up fist. Chun-Li wristbands, yes, that. Now, I really like this one. Chloe Sagal putting out a personal ad on Twitter in 2014 saying, any cute girls want to come over and make out and smoke and possibly do cute lesbian things together. My favorite thing about this tweet, which I had to find in archives again, is that someone named Logan is saying, no interest in guys, my fairest maiden. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with Logan, but I tried to find his Twitter account because I wanted to make fun of him, but he has also deleted his Twitter account. I guess he could not live with the shame of this existing. So I found that interesting. They are pretty... I guess I should set this up, right? So they're who they are. They're in the alphabet. And in the community, the broad community of alphabet people, it's very tight-knit, to the point where on the forum, people will colloquially refer to the alphabet people, at least the forward-facing prominent internet personalities that represent it, as the Rat King. Because in mythology, it's not actually a myth. It does exist. It's been found. There are instances of burrowing rats who live in such a claustrophobic environment, they become entangled with one another at their tails. Like the shit gets caked in, and they're just stuck together in such a way that they form a single entity. And the interpersonal entanglements with this were shocking, because as I was digging through trying to find the story of Chloe, I noticed that I recognized like 10 different names in the fallout of their death. I recognized basically everyone talked about, because they all knew each other and it all affected them, and they all had very strange reactions, but I'll save that for a bit. Let me go ahead and show you what the extent of their creative talent is. And I am going to read all of this because it's painful, and I need to share my pain. For if you're listening, it's just a comic, and it's very crudely drawn. It starts with a bird or a troll or something holding up a sign saying, God hates who I hate. And it's like in a Pokemon theme, I guess. It says a wild bigot appears. Bigot uses faggot. Trans woman 1, trans woman 2, and gay cis man take damage. Gay cis man uses activism. It's too weak. Trans woman 1, trans woman 2, ally 2, and ally 1 use support. Bigot is defeated. A drag queen appears. Ally 2 and gay cis man use high five. Ally 2, gay cis man, and drag queen increase in power. Drag queen uses tranny. Trans woman 1 takes damage. Trans woman 2 is equipped with different life experience. Tranny is ineffective. Gay cis man uses ignore. Trans woman 1 uses activism. It's weak. Drag queen uses censorship. Straw man. Trans woman 1 takes damage. Ally 2 uses victim blaming and gaslighting combo. Trans woman 1 takes damage. Can't believe how long this is. Like, the point of a comic is to make it short so that people can look at it and very quickly, using the combination of text and images, take home whatever your message is. This is not a comic. This is like a really shitty flip book or something. But I guess I'll skip the second half. It's just the point of it is that, because these people, they have such a small world, they have to constantly communicate with one another through Harry Potter and Pokemon references, because that's basically all they know. And what Chloe's trying to say here is that there is infighting in the trans community, because every single one of them is weird in a different way. Every alphabet has their own clique, and they don't get along with each other, and they fight constantly. Now, Chloe isn't actually trying to... Oh, hold up. I've been told I should finish it. I apologize. Trans woman 1 has suffered too many wounds from previous encounters. Trans woman 1 cannot fight back. Trans woman 1 attempts to use end. Trans drag queen uses ignore. Ally 2 uses ignore. Trans woman 2 uses ignore. Gay cis man uses ignore. Ally 1 uses empathy. Ally 1 uses listening and understanding. And action misses. So they're alluding here that they're going to kill themselves. But thanks to Ally 1 and their empathy, they do not use end. And I guess use the Pokemon. I mean, from what I understand, I'm not like a Pokemon expert, but the move end usually has a 41% chance to succeed. And for the other 59%, it fails. It's kind of a weird ability. So I guess in this comic, it fails. It wasn't very effective. Yeah, and yes, I am proud of myself for that. So Chloe's entire life was defined by their interpersonal drama and was defined by their reliance on other people to feel good about themselves. Uh, it's I always feel kind of bad for the T in the alphabet because your entire world depends on people recognizing you for how you want to be perceived. And you depend on your alphabet friends to support you. But everybody in there is involved for their own nepotistic reasons. They're all weird and egomaniacal, and no one really supports you. You just have acquaintances who have mutually beneficial, like-minded goals. In the moment you stop matching that very specific criteria, you're no longer in. So you've alienated yourself from the general population by becoming the T. And then your very narrow group of friends has very conditional love for you. And if you step out of it, you lose all of it at once. Now, Chloe's actually kind of an asshole, and I'll show that in a bit. But let me talk a little bit more about this real quick, about what really kicked off the drama around them and started the downward spiral. Everything that I'm about to read comes after the release of the game Homesick, or the project formerly known as Homesick. So they've already become kind of famous, and this is also at the start of game. I think right around Gamergate was. I mean, this is late 2014, so this is right where feminist frequency and all that kind of stuff was just cropping up. So I'll read a little bit of this. I am going to survive. I am suffering from metal poisoning. I need to get this shrapnel out of me before it kills me. This is my situation. A few years ago, I was involved in a near-fatal car accident. The doctors patched me up, and I thankfully survived. However, several months ago, an object turned up in my X-ray. The identity of the object is unknown. The only certainty is that the object is metallic, and it presumably was missing or left during the removal of other foreign objects. Since the object is metallic, it is causing me to suffer from metal poisoning, a particularly nasty thing to get as it makes me prone to illness, weakness, involuntary twitching, etc. I'm more than likely going to suffer permanent brain damage if I haven't already if the object is not removed. Eventually, it will kill me. At this point in time, my doctor gave me a few years before I had to remove the object. So the campaign, it goes on, but the campaign was for $35,000 to get this surgery. And it was achieved. It got $35,000 from like about 1,000 funders, right? And in the archive, at this point, I think it got taken down very shortly after it reached funding. But the error page in the archive says, I'm going to survive is under review by the trust and safety team. Check back later or contact us if you have concerns. The concern that they had was Chloe kind of sort of got that money and then did not take out the metal in their body, if that metal existed at all. They used that money to get a sexual reassignment surgery. And when that got found out, they were accused of fraud and they got into trouble. And no, that's not bullshit. That's not conjecture. That actually happened. They took the money and they got SRS. However, the fallout was really fucking bad. You can't say, I'm dying, collect $35,000 for the purpose of not dying, and then use that to cut off your penis. It's just not something that, even in the Rat King, it's not something that people tolerate. Fraud and dishonesty is universally reviled by almost everyone, right? So that was the beginning of the end, the start of the downhill spiral. This is the article by Eurogamer which broke the story. The original story says Chloe Sagal, developer of any horror game Homesick, has successfully crowdfunded an operation that will save her life. Update number 1. Chloe Sagal's Indiegogo campaign has disappeared without explanation. I've asked Indiegogo for that explanation and will update when I hear back. Indiegogo has responded. I had asked for an explanation about why Chloe Sagal's Indiegogo campaign had been taken down. This is what I received. Indiegogo has a proprietary and effective fraud algorithm, and when suspicious activity is detected, the campaign is immediately suspended and all contributors are refunded. An Indiegogo spokesperson told me. Indiegogo's proprietary trust and security algorithms and all our community of credible, conscious participants help make Indiegogo the largest, most trusted global whatever. I replied asking for more information. When suspicious activity is detected, the campaign is immediately suspended and all contributions are refunded. And then update number 3 out of 4 says that somebody gave $4,000 and that was refunded. And then update number 4 says Chloe Sagal posted false information on Indiegogo. Eurogamer can confirm she was attempting to raise money for gender alteration surgery and not to remove metal shrapnel from her body as she had declared. So this began the era of arguing with fucking everyone in a way that was extremely alienating and got Chloe Sagal removed from the Rat King. In particular, as I was reading through this, I saw Chloe talking about Rainey Baker. And Rainey Baker is another alphabet who I knew, and I kind of know, I would say a little bit fondly. Because I think they joined the forum. Actually, I don't want to say this with 100% certainty, but I'm pretty sure Rainey Baker joined the forum to argue with us and to make fun of us and to say that we're all assholes. And then Rainey Baker tried to donate their time at like a women's shelter for trans people, and they got told that they couldn't do that. They literally could not volunteer their time to work at the shelter because they had an account on a white supremacist website, the Quickie Forums. So I've had conversation with Rainey Baker, and their opinion is that we're assholes, but we can just be ignored, which is very unique out of the alphabets. So I don't particularly distrust them or dislike them or whatever. But they were a former girlfriend of Chloe. This right here would be the message following Chloe's death. Unfortunately, there's no advice column out there for how to emotionally process divorcing your estranged lover self-immolated herself to death to protest the failures of our mental health care system. And what's interesting is that out of all the reactions I could find from people on the alphabet, Rainey Baker is the only one who did not specifically blame the Kiwi Farms or another person they did not like. So that was particularly interesting. This conversation is too long for me to share in full, but it was a big deal when it happened. You might recognize the name Brianna Wu. You're going to recognize a lot of names if you pay attention to this kind of stuff because they all show up in this for some reason. Chloe Sagal I'm pretty sure this is after the failure of I think this is the January after the failure of the crowdfunding platform, is sending messages on Facebook to Brianna Wu saying, "Is there any reason you avoid me? I'm confused as to why we as victims can't have some solidarity. I'm drowning here. I need some help. I'm not trying to push you out or frustrate you more, but just a little acknowledgement would really ease my mind. To which Brianna Wu responds, Chloe, I'm not avoiding anybody. I'm simply a pretty busy woman. What's going on? And Chloe says, I found out why I've been being abused. It turns out when Indiegogo and PayPal seized the funds I collected, they only refunded to people who asked for a refund, and they stole the rest of it. To which Brianna Wu very empathetically replies, that sucks. People have been coming at me because they think I took it. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know what to do. I don't have the following to take on either of those opportunistic companies. It goes back and forth. Chloe's trying to force Brianna Wu. Brianna Wu advocates getting a lawyer. Chloe says they don't have the money or the clout to address it. They complain about their career being in tatters. I don't know what career they had, but whatever. Brianna Wu finally writes a diplomatic message saying, it sounds like you're in a really dark, frustrating place. I'm really sorry to hear that. And then Chloe finally gets angry and says, if I try to start a public inquiry into what happened, would you be willing to signal boost it? Not a boycott, not a witch hunt, just, hey, what the fuck? I don't know. It's the only thing I can think of. It's something I'm sure even Gaga-ers? This is during Gamergate. That even Gamergate would get behind. They want a corruption story. We have one. Brianna Wu, of course, self-interested as always, says, no, Chloe, the reason I'm saying that is I respect you enough to be straight with you. If I didn't respect you, sorry, the message is written really shittily. If I didn't respect you to give you some bullshit answer, I don't know what happened between you and PayPal. I can't put my professional reputation on the line pursuing a situation I don't know anything about. And frankly, I just have other battles to fight. And if you respect me, go understand I can't get enmeshed in every single situation. I understand, says Chloe Sagal. Now, they may say, I understand, but what they mean to say is, I understand, but I don't care, and I really want your help. Brianna Wu is also very obnoxious in private, this message declares, because the way that they write is extremely self-aggrandizing, like even in private. Brianna says, thank you. Listen, I'm really good at political stuff. This is what I do. I'm telling you, taking on PayPal publicly is a suicide mission. They destroyed me, says Chloe. I'm blacklisted because of their actions. I can't get a job anywhere, all because people think I stole the money. PayPal is oppressive. They have a virtual monopoly. They need to be dealt with. They are hurting people like me. I'm not the only one. There are thousands of stories. The only reason I bring it up is because it affects you, whether you accept it or not. To which Brianna Wu very frankly replies, Chloe, I'm a 35-year-old woman. I run a studio. Because they need to remind everyone all the time that they are a game developer and a woman. The fighting goes on. Chloe's now all caps typing. I am 27 years old and I am terminally ill. I do not have long to live. I need to do something. Don't trivialize me. I never trivialize you. Brianna Wu actually starts getting mad and says, but I'm not going to get engaged in some dramatic pity party. I'm not trivializing you. I'm saying if you want a friendship with me, this cannot be the format of it. Now it goes on, back and forth, and Chloe really starts getting nasty with Brianna Wu, saying like, I can't fucking help you. I can't give you money. I don't know why you're doing this to me. And it ends with Chloe threatening them. And I'll read these messages. Okay, I'm done. Good night. From Brianna Wu, to which Chloe replies, fine, I'll just post these logs in public. All I asked was for a little help when I'm being abused. Brianna says, you're threatening me again. Yes, because you're going to sit here and trigger me, then act like I'm the problem. You are not fucking better than me. We are both human beings. Stop treating me like I'm less than you. I know you're busy, but I figured, hey, you might be empathetic. I'm glad you were able to keep a composure and a career through the abuse. I didn't. What part of I've been blacklisted didn't you get? You have the power to help, but your career is more important to you. Yeah, no shit, asshole. Than a felon victim of these fucking Gamergate shitheads. To which Brianna Wu replies, if you're going to threaten me, we're not friends. Now, obviously, Chloe did publish these logs, I guess to try and make Brianna Wu look bad, and it didn't really do that. Nobody really gave a shit, except one person. One person did take it to heart. And I want to show that because I'm kind of skipping around in my format, but that's okay. This is... Oh, wait, no. It's this one. At some point, Ian Miles Chong says that Brianna Wu basically killed Chloe Sagal. The great thing is that everyone thinks that somebody killed Chloe Sagal. Ian Miles Chong blames Brianna Wu. Brianna Wu and Zinnia Jones blame Gamergate and by extension Kiwi Farms, or vice versa. I think they blame the forum and by extension Gamergate. But in response to Ian Miles Chong saying that the forum or Brianna Wu killed Chloe Sagal, Ian, the only conversation I have ever had in my life with Chloe Sagal was a brief Facebook Messenger exchange in either late 2014 or 2015. She leaked those contents to the public. There was nothing in them except for me trying to show support for someone with depression. I've seen your Twitter post on the subject. I consider them flat out defamatory and false. And this is a funny bit just from, like, in general. She continues, the legal standard on the subject is actual malice. Can I prove that you continued saying false things knowing that they are false? Consider this message a legal notice that what you are claiming is beyond false and easily proven false. You should think much more carefully about making public statements like this. You should know that the reportage law with slander and libel only covers you if you give a source for your claims. So that's Brianna Wu threatening Ian Miles Chong, who for some reason people like. I don't know who the fuck is following Ian Miles Chong, but he is so obnoxious and so blatant and transparent with his agenda. I can't fucking stand him. I think I can stand Brianna Wu more than fucking Ian Miles Chong. At least, Brianna Wu is obvious with their motives all the time. Ian Miles Chong, pretends to be better than people like Brianna Wu, despite being just as bad. And I think that's worse, in general. Okay, the fallout of that conversation with Brianna Wu, by the way, is this. Which might give you some inclination of why Brianna Wu wouldn't want to help this person. This is them after the conversation. I don't know how far after the conversation, but this is on Brianna Wu's Patreon page, and in the comments of some random post Chloe Sagal is posting, there is only one way this is going to go away, and that's when I'm dead or when you finally admit that you're a lying scumbag who kills women. What's it going to be, Brianna? Are you going to fucking be an adult and deal with this? Or is someone going to fucking die tonight? Because I swear to fuck, when the cops get here, I'm going to fucking fight them if they don't listen. You took everything. 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 How am I evil for wanting to take it back? So obviously a very stable, very emotionally normalized 41%er here who is fucking frothing at the mouth in rage at Brianna Wu in a public area, probably the only place where Brianna Wu hadn't blocked them at this point, because Brianna Wu was not willing to put their career at risk to fight Chloe Sagal's fights on behalf of Chloe Sagal. When I said that Chloe Sagal is an asshole, this is kind of what I meant. The other interesting one was with someone named Zinnia Jones, who, if you pay attention to Gamergate, which you shouldn't, might be a familiar name. Let's see, this is it. I don't know why it's so big. I feel like when I get a death threat, says Zinnia, it's probably a good idea to save it for the record. Here's one from just now. Quoting Chloe Sagal, I'm going to get together whatever money I can, and I'm going to find Zinnia Jones, and I'm going to kill her. Very diplomatic. Kind of got some wiggle room there. You show that in a fucking courtroom, they're going to be like, well, I don't know if this is an actual death threat or not. You know what's funny is that Gamergate was the death threaters, right? Gamergate was the one with like the very real Jace Connors street racing Brianna Wu to the grave. But yet, I think out of all the death threats I've seen, this is one of them, and I don't think Gamergate was responsible for it. So, how did Ian Miles Chong react to this? By the way, because at some point they were talking, and Chloe Sagal was sending them. Chloe talked endlessly about fucking suicide. By the way, there are quotes where Chloe Sagal is blaming the Kiwi Farms for killing them. But they have said this with everyone. Brianna Wu killed them, and Zinnia Jones killed them, and Gamergate killed them. Everyone, if you looked at all the messages that Chloe Sagal has sent throughout their life, everyone ever has contributed to their suicide in their own words. But FYI, says Zinnia Jones, Chloe Sagal is currently messaging me about her plans to commit suicide. I guess the quote being mined, or the quote being posted by Zinnia, is sensitive content, and Ian Miles Chong didn't include it. But he very dispassionately says, I have no words. Again, trying to make it look like these random people killed Chloe Sagal. Though the only person who would seem to agree with that, besides Ian Miles Chong, is Tommy Tudor, who you may also recognize as being someone I've done a stream on because they're all fucking weirdos and they all fucking know each other. Tommy says, unfortunately, it appears that there were people in the trans community who contributed to Chloe's suicide, as well as a medical institution that released her when she clearly needed to be in treatment right before she killed herself. Trans people need to not eat each other, which I think, out of all the reactions I've seen, is probably both the most correct and the most humane of all of them, which is fucking bizarro world, because Tommy Tudor is demonstrably the most insane of all of them, which I guess really says something about how badly these people want to fuck each other over. I'm just pouring over what kind of reactions people have had. Because, like I said, it's not the death that's really interesting. There is an interesting element to the death that I've not talked about in detail yet. I mentioned it in passing, but I think people already know. But I'm gonna save it for a bit. This is another fight. I think this actually comes from Encyclopedia Dramatica, or one of their friends, because Chloe was having fights with other random fucking people on Facebook, because that's all they did. I've never seen a message from Chloe that is like supportive and nice. It's always this shit. Chloe Sagal to an unnamed person: by throwing in with these people, you are agreeing that you believe that I attempt suicide for money. By believing that, you ignore the fact that I live in constant fucking agony. You ignore that these people constantly fucking bully me. You ignore that these people sent someone to my fucking apartment to rape me, which doesn't sound true. You ignore all the hard work I've pushed through to get where I fucking am. Yeah, it's a lot of fucking work to disappear $35,000 and not even get your surgery out of it. You are fucking cruel. You've broken my heart. You've made me cry. Why did you have to talk to these people in public? And I guess this is the person posting on the forum. Why couldn't you have just talked to me? Why don't you actually listen to what I've been saying instead of reading a bunch of out-of-context bile people whose stated goal is to get me to kill myself are spewing about me? Why don't you stay the fuck out of my medical issues and my financial issues? And why don't you go to my abusers to try and fix more problems that are already being solved by people it actually affects, and not random bigoted strangers watching this bullshit from the outside? Like any of this will even matter. You're just going to interpret this as blah blah, Tumblr, blah blah, social justice warrior, and continue to pretend that you know how to manage my life better than me. And I think the conversation stems from this, where somebody posted, oh yeah, I think it does, because this is like a comic criticizing Tumblr and social justice shit, because this is 2014, where this kind of shit's like super relevant. And it's just, I'm not even going to bother fucking reading it, but they're clearly having a fucking like meltdown. Look at how many of these comments are like in a row. Like he's posting as if it were a chat room and like Facebook comments. You sure as fuck act like a rich kid. Look, you aren't bothered by shit. I get it, but some of us fucking aren't. Fucking enter key. I guess commenting on the fact that how many fucking posts they're making in a row. But some of us aren't fucking able to handle this shit. There's a reason why 50% of trans women attempt suicide. Oh, raise those numbers up. I mean, I honor the dedication there to raising those numbers, them digits. You're talking to someone who is fucking dying and constantly fucking deals with suicidal ideation. I get fucking bullshit for being suicidal. I get bullshit for being a fucking sexual assault victim, blah. I get bullshit for being Romani. Oh, they're a gypsy. I told you they're not Jewish. They're a gypsy. I get bullshit for being trans. And I liked this part. They sent them a private message saying, I don't know who the fuck you are, but thanks for posting that triggering fucking comment and letting your friend abuse me. And they posted it on their own, like in Twitter too. This was a response to me talking about having PTSD. He's currently trying to trigger me. So just a constant maelstrom of alienating the fuck out of everybody around them. And it culminated... Actually, there might be one more. What's this say? Oh, this is about Rainey, their ex. When Rainey is not around to stop me, I'm going to go and hang myself. Okay. All I wanted was some fucking help. I'm in constantly in agonizing pain. All I needed was surgery. Yeah, I really don't think cutting anything off your body would fucking help you. But whatever. You couldn't even take the time to consider what the fuck I was going through before you sent everyone here to fucking abuse me. I hope you suffer the same as me. I hope you are struck with crippling depression, fibromyalgia, and Cushing's. I don't know what that is, but it sounds terrible. I hope no one listens to you and they tell you that you're abusive because you're emotional and you can't handle living. Now, all this drama and all this ideation led to this on, I believe, let me get the date right because I don't want to sound like a retard. On the 23rd of June, it is reported... Brilliant, on the Daily Mail no less, brilliant artist commits suicide by setting herself on fire in the middle of a busy Portland street after being bullied online, says the Daily Mail. Oregon native Chloe Sagal self-immolated Thursday afternoon in Lonsdale Square across from the street from Multnomah County Courthouse in Portland. Hospital official at Legacy later announced that the 31-year-old had succumbed to her wounds. Friends and family described Sagal as brilliant but tortured artist who struggled with mental health issues. Sagal also struggled with online harassers who mercilessly attacked her for her lifestyle, with friends believing the abuse may have pushed her over the edge. Just days before her demise, police detained Sagal after receiving reports that she intended to self-harm. So this is a true story. They set out to a park, a public park. Actually, let me get the exact quote because it's described pretty well in this article. She was reading a statement about homelessness and mental health issues, and then she got out a gallon bottle and started pouring what looked like dirty water over her head. I thought maybe she's really hot, said Maxie. All of a sudden, I saw a blue lighter, and then Sagal was engulfed in flames. In what police are describing as a suicide note, Sagal says the culmination of her life experiences necessitates that her death must be political. My death cannot be silent. This is the best part, by the way. My death cannot be silent, Sagal says in the note. It has to be loud and political. My entire life, my experience, my education has led up to this moment. I can only expect trauma and death for my existence. It's not exactly clear what she was protesting about. The reason why is that when Chloe Sagal got on the soapbox and started reading their manifesto aloud to eyewitnesses in the area, they apparently did not have not ever experienced a big fire, an uncontained fire in real life. As someone who has been been through a house fire, let me describe something to you regarding uncontained fires. When a fire is burning in a contained space, the heat energizes the air and creates significant turbulence that will do unexpected things. The force of the air will knock shit over. It will slam doors. It will rattle the entire house. It's extremely kinetic. So when Chloe Sagal set their suicide note on the ground and set themselves on fire, it created a significant gust of wind, which blew their suicide note / manifesto away. And nobody knows exactly what it was that Chloe Sagal protested by setting themselves on fire. I think that just about sums it up. So, I do like the comments on this article, by the way. The people that made her... check out the downvotes, by the way, the ratios on these comments. Jorge Ozejo says, the people that made her commit suicide will pay the price. They don't know it yet, but it will come for them. Remember, people, be nice to each other because karma will get you sooner or later. 290 up, 513 down. Conservative New York says they should do a forensic audit on her computer and mobile devices and find these bullies and prosecute them. They need to be stopped. 346 up, 451 down. And then Claire Elizabeth from London takes my side. My homie, the only good Anglo in the world, says, you cannot blame this all on bullying. Deeper problem here, which gets 1,300 upvotes and only 90 down. So my devil's advocate Claire from London really got the troops rallied for me. And Taylor from Atlanta says, I like this one because it's basically cyberbullying the dead. I'm sorry this young lady took her life and I wish she had gotten help, but to me, setting yourself on fire and the word brilliant should never be used together, which got 800 upvotes and 86 down. That's really fucking mean, Claire from Atlanta, or whatever the fuck your name was. Those words, by the way, the thing about the political statement, those weren't actually Chloe Sagal's last words. Their last words were, I didn't know it would hurt this bad, said to a EMS responder before their death. So my pro tip is, if you set yourself on fire, take a deep breath because the flames will cook your lungs and prevent you from inhaling further. It will asphyxiate you much faster. It is quite sad. Like I said, I don't feel. I do feel. I have sympathies for the T's. I guess I'm an empath. I don't like the needless suffering, and I see the T lifestyle as a self-inflicted wound of needless suffering, and maybe even not self-inflicted. I think there are people who get taken advantage of by society and single mothers who really like weird things. You know how women like retarded animals and sick things, and they like three-legged horses and that kind of shit. I think single mothers want that kind of additional responsibility too. Like, oh, my child's a unique special snowflake. They're transgender. I think that is somewhat inflicted upon them, and I don't particularly blame the T's for being T all by themselves. Though, what do I know? I'm just a retard. Yeah, death by immolation has to be terrible. Though I mean, I especially feel bad in this instance because so much of the reaction was like Kiwi Farms is mentioned in the Daily Mail in this article. In 2013, Sagal found herself in the crosshairs of what New York Magazine called the web's biggest community of stalkers, a hate mob known as Kiwi Farms. This is the one of four mentions. Members of Kiwi Farms whose participants specialize in harassing people they perceive as being mentally ill or sexually deviant in some way began targeting Sagal and revealed that the money was actually being used for her gender surgery. This part's interesting as well. This is a quote, one factor that made it much harder for her to get help was that whenever she talked about suicide, one friend told the Oregonian, Kiwi Farms members would report her Facebook page and get it locked down. This had happened multiple times in the month prior to her death. So yes, people, I don't know if they were actually from the forum, it's hard to say. But every time she would suicide bait on Facebook, Facebook has a rule against suicide baiting. If you say you're going to kill yourself, you get banned from Facebook. You could say that's not helpful, which it probably isn't. But Facebook does not want people killing themselves on their platform. They don't want people live streaming their suicides and shit like that. So if you're at risk of suicide, they will ban you from Facebook so that if you do kill yourself, you won't do it there and you won't give them negative attention. Just a little pro tip. I had other articles that got published in Variety. I think we do get mentioned. Sagal's friends tell Oregon Live that she had physical disability difficulties and struggled with mental illness. They also said she was the target of a persistent online bullying campaign by Kiwi Farms, which the New Yorker once described as the web's biggest community of stalkers. I really like how all these articles reference each other. They all tend to like masturbate and cite each other so that you never have to worry about saying something wrong. You can just say the New Yorker once said this. And it's fucking like incestuous. Did we get mentioned in this one? Yes, we do. Most of the trolling came from those who would go on to found Kiwi Farms, which is not fucking true. That's like completely false. There's 6 mentions in this one. Founded in 2014, also not fucking true. My forum account is from 2012. Is a message board devoted to her harassment. I like to say harassment instead of harassment. I don't know why. And it has a long history of transphobia. Anything else interesting from this? Oh. Posters on Kiwi Farms are currently celebrating her suicide. Thank you, Hornet, for this great reporting. Know your meme. That's how you know you made it. If I ever set myself on fire and kill myself, guys, please make sure that I have a fantastic, well-sourced Know Your Meme article to live on for all eternity. Thank you very much. Oh, that's some bullshit. That's from the Joker that we just watched. I think that's it. There is the Patreon outro. I'll probably, if you guys like these, I'll probably do really short ones. Like if I can get away with talking for 45 minutes or so about someone, it gives me some flexibility with who I talk about. Because like I said, the whole story of, weirdo on the internet becomes transgender, wants to become a game developer, publishes some freeware, and eventually ends up killing themselves after they fuck up their whole life. If that kind of stuff if something I can talk about, that's fine. Here is the final post by their friends. So I suppose I'll read this. As some of you may already know, Chloe took her life on Tuesday, June 19th, 2018. The note said, "My death cannot be silent. It has to be loud and political. My entire life, my experiences, my education has led up to this moment. I can only expect trauma and death from my existence." It's very emo. If you have time to write your suicide note, you should probably take the time to make it very eloquent and not so edgy. That's what I would do if I was writing a suicide note. She spent her last lucid moments publicly speaking to the injustice and discrimination faced by people dealing with homelessness and mental health challenges. "I am a close friend who has recovered her van and her computer. As part of a coordinated effort to celebrate Chloe's life and honor her message, I will be distributing unreleased art and development notes here on this Patreon." Her note also said, "Whoever needs my van and the things in it should have it. I will be working to make sure these resources are repurposed to serve people who need them, people whose lives are affected by the same challenges Chloe faced and spoke out against. It's understandable if you wish to withdraw your patronage. Any further proceeds from this Patreon will go towards Chloe's existing Patreon pledges, maintenance, and registration on the van. And then if there's any left, it will go towards donation to a research and compassionate charity that works towards combating homelessness and mental health injustice." Chloe did live out of their van. in the last few months. I think right before they became homeless, I did not find these messages because their Twitter account got deleted. I just know that they're out there somewhere. They tried to do a GoFundMe to help pay rent, and they got like 2 likes on Twitter and like $5 towards rent. So in the last few months of Chloe's life, they were completely and totally and utterly isolated from everyone, the entire world. And perhaps it's justified because you see how well Chloe treats people they're trying to get help from. But you know, it's sad, I guess. I don't know what that, I mean, even me, like, I'm a fucking weirdo, isolated from all my family and shit, but I got like an army of fucking weirdos I can talk to if I need to. I can make a stream and people will actually watch it. Can you fucking believe that? I can't even conceptualize that kind of isolation. At least you got us. That's right. That's right, Yamashita. I got my fucking weirdos. So I figured I would play something tasteful as an outro, and I'll see you, I guess, next week. I'll do some more research, and we'll do little bonus episodes like this throughout October. And I'll see you next week, next Wednesday at the latest. Take it easy, my friends.
I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you fire. I'll take you to burn. Fire. I'll take you to learn. I'll see you burn. You fought hard and you saved and earned.